Celebration time. It don't matter what part of the jewel they come from. You da you and me da me. But guess what? All are we the one. See what I mean? Jump and shout all over the nation. We're breaking out with a new creation. It's been too long, we've got to unite now. Time and space can't keep us apart right now. Unity, yes, you better know. It's the only way to go. We stay apart, then we'll have to fall. Count on you, count on one and all. It's not for you, not for me, it's not for we. It's not for you, not for me, it's not for we. Love and respect one another. Fellow man, that is your brother, yeah.
Mandy, Cabot, and Peter Kjellerup co-founded Silkgrass Farms in 2019. Since its inception, Silkgrass Farms has sought to blend conservation with business. According to Cabot, this is their opportunity to act as stewards, giving back to Belize using its natural resources to build community, economic strength, education, and leadership. Our Belize Watch team recently sat down with Cabot, Kjellerup, and Executive Director Dr. Henry Canton. We will have that discussion, but first, we take a break to hear from our partners. The Barry, Del Martin, Silkgrass Farms, National Bank of Belize, Ministry of Blue Economy, and Minister Kevin Bernard.
This not for you, not for me, it's not for we. It's not for you, not for me, it's not for we. Try to support one another. Night and day, look out for each other, yeah.
Debari is your one-stop store of choice. We have an array of electronics and accessories to keep you connected. Your home will be the envy of your friends when you choose from a wide variety of household appliances. We can help you dress the entire family in style and comfort with our selection of clothing and footwear. Visit our store on Albert Street in Belize City, San Pedro, La Isla Bonita, Park Street in Orange Walk Town, Belmopan, and San Ignacio, Santa Elena. Debari, get more, pay less.
Rice and beans, our Belizean tradition. Made even better with Silkgrass Farms cold-pressed coconut oil. Rich in healthy fats and full of natural flavor, our coconut oil brings out the best in every dish. From seasoning the pot for rice and beans to browning that perfect stew chicken, cooked on low heat, the coconut oil adds depth and richness to the flavor of your dish. Even when frying plantain, the coconut oil, cooked with gentle heat, brings out the natural sweetness, giving them that golden, crispy finish. Bring the true taste of Belize to the table with cold-pressed coconut oil by Silkgrass Farms.
Your dream home isn't just a house, it's where your future takes shape. At NBB, we go beyond financing. Our partnership with trusted professionals ensure you're supported at every step. We simplify the process, offering expert advice, personalized services, and fast approvals to make your journey stress-free. With NBB, you're not just buying a house, you're investing in your future with confidence and ease.
Action.
At NBB, we don't just help you finance your dream, we help you live it. National Bank of Belize, your partner every step of the way.
4 years ago, Belize's blue economy was a vision, a dream waiting to be realized. It was an untapped resource with immense potential, but lacked the leadership and strategy to truly thrive. Today, under the leadership of Honorable Andrea Perez, Minister of Blue Economy and Disaster Risk Management, that vision is no longer just a dream, it's a reality. The blue economy has become a cornerstone of Belize's growth, creating sustainable jobs, boosting our GDP, and preserving our natural heritage. Under the previous administration, our rich marine resources and coastal communities faced many challenges: limited innovation, missed opportunities, and a lack of direction. This administration has championed groundbreaking initiatives such as the National Adaptation Plan for the Coastal Zone and Fisheries Sector, which is the first of its kind in Belize and is a testament to the Ministry's commitment to building a robust and sustainable blue economy. The Ministry of Blue Economy and Disaster Risk Management, safeguarding lives, seas, and sustainability.
In Orange Walk East, we've witnessed remarkable progress under the leadership of Kevin Bernard. Our community has thrived like never before. From healthcare initiatives that ensure every family has access to quality medical services, to educational reforms that empower our youth to reach their full potential. Kevin has transformed our infrastructure, making Orange Walk East a place where families can flourish. His commitment to youth and sports development has inspired a new generation of leaders and athletes. With a strong focus on women's development, Kevin has lifted voices and created opportunities for women to shine. Land distribution programs have empowered our citizens, giving them the tools to build a better future for their families. Through digital transformation, Kevin is ensuring that no one is left behind in this technological age. And in times of need, his social assistance programs have provided a safety net for our most vulnerable.
I believe in the power of our community. Together, we have achieved so much, but there's a lot more to be done. Together, let's continue to build a better Orange Walk East. I ask for your support on this upcoming election. Vote Kevin for Orange Walk East.
El pueblo de Santa Marta y yo presente estaremos apoyando para las próximas elecciones al ministro Kevin Bernard. Me and my family will continue supporting Mr. Kevin Bernard for this general election.
Let's continue the progress. Vote for Kevin Bernard, a leader who cares, a champion for Orange Walk East.
Celebration time. It don't matter what part of the jewel you come from. You da you and me da me. But guess what? All are we the one. See what I mean? Jump and shout all over the nation. We're breaking out with a new creation. It's been too long, we've got to unite.
I'm at Silkgrass Farms, and I'm at the Great House. And this house has a whole lot of history, from what I am told. Also, Silkgrass Farms has a whole lot of history. I'm told that Silkgrass Farms was started by none other than Pat Polak, who is a person that I knew very well, right? And the Great House was where he once lived. So we're honored to be here at the Great House and to have the privilege of talking to the new owners of what was Pat Polak's farm, which is now Silkgrass Farms. And I'll tell you something, Silkgrass Farms produce some of the best coconut oil in the world, right? And I can say that because that's what we use. And also they produce the best juices around in Belize. So I'm honored and I have the privilege of talking. Well, my good friend Henry Canton is here and he manages Silkgrass Farms, but also I have the owners and investors of Silkgrass Farms, Mandy, Cabot and Peter Kjellerup. Thank you so much for having me here at the Great House. Thank you so much for having me here at Silkgrass Farms. It's an honor and a privilege to get to know you, right? But, you know, let's start with you, Mandy. Let's get to know you, Mandy.
Well, I'm so glad you're here, and thank you for coming and for your interest in what we're doing here. Peter and I came to Belize about 10 years ago, and we fell in love. We were here for a week, and I think on day 4, we decided this is where we were going to put down roots and stay. So we have fallen in love, and we're here to stay.
So you're falling in love with Belize. What were your first impressions of Belize when you got off that plane? Like the first thing that hit you?
I have to say, of course, as almost everybody says, the people. And that's true. In 10 years of being here, we have never once said, hi, good morning, and raised our hand in greeting and not have it returned back to us with great enthusiasm. So we have always felt welcome here, and we really deeply appreciate that.
What about you, Peter?
Yeah, the first time we came here, we were here for a week. And after we have been traveling in the Caribbean and Asia to try to find a place we wanted to get old and settle down as retirees, in that week we were here, we knew we found the place. That's how fast it is. And in that same week, we already bought land that was at Placencia. And that's where we have a house and live now ourselves. We don't live on the farm here, but we spend as much time as we can here. And so we have the benefit of the mountains and the sea. So we have the best of all the worlds. And that's within 45 minutes. You can't beat that.
I agree with you. It's the most beautiful country in the world. Now, you have met up with a very good friend of mine, Dr. Henry Canton. How did that meeting happen? Maybe we could ask Henry to tell us about how that meeting took place, right?
Oh,
you want to say?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say, so meeting Henry, that's probably I'm joking saying the worst thing ever happened because he led us down a path we never had foreseen and never even imagined. So,
yeah, Henry, how did that happen?
Just to correct Peter, the path was a good path. The only problem was that it was an expensive path. Yeah. But it's a challenge to complete the vision and that path. No, met Mandy and Peter. They were looking for land. They wanted a little farm. And they ended up with...
A big farm?
A little big farm.
How big is this farm, Henry?
This one is 27,000 acres, and then we have another 10,000 acres on different farms or locations that we also grow crops for the primary farm here, or the processing facilities and stuff. But no, that was our introduction. I took them around for a day or two, and then threw at them, Mandy tells the story better, threw at them a proposal on Thanksgiving, and we never turned back. It was always just adelante.
And it was how many years ago?
2018. It was November 2018 was the call, and March 2019 we had purchased.
Okay. And
What's that meeting like?
I'm sorry, it was Thanksgiving. He first mentioned it 18. So already in March we had a deal. So that's how fast that went.
So we really had never intended anything like this. We were really looking at 30 acres, maybe 50 acres, a small...
2,700.
So we came to Belize. We fell in love. We retired from a company that we had started in Pennsylvania. But retirement really was not in the cards for us. Okay. So we asked ourselves, is that all there is? Do we have maybe another chapter in our lives? And we said, without a doubt, we do. So we thought, Peter was a farmer in Denmark, and I come from a long line of conservationists. We thought, wow, maybe we could do something with a small farm. Maybe it could have a conservation element to it. We met Henry through a mutual contact, and he showed us progressively larger and larger and larger places. And we saw this. We couldn't really see what we were getting into because everything was so overgrown. It had been virtually abandoned for quite a while. But this would be sort of the mother of all impact investments for us, and it would be for each of us our grand finale as business people.
Now let's go back to Pennsylvania and your early days. Talk to us about your early days and lead us up to when you decided to come to Belize.
Peter and I started a shoe company called Dansko, literally translated as Danish, the Dane, shoe.
Well, how did you meet?
We met through chapter 1 of our lives. Peter was a horse trainer, and I was an aspiring competition rider. So Peter and I started a business together. That was our first business. And from that, we were importing horses and horse gear from Europe. And one of the other things we imported was shoes. So we started a shoe company, and that grew and grew and grew and grew. And we had over 150 employees and lots of sales. We were the darling of the shoe industry in America. And I was very excited to learn when we came here to Belize that some of our favorite people wear our shoes, like
What's the brand?
Henry's daughter, veterinarian, wears our shoes. Sean Quillen, a chef, wears our shoes. So they're the shoes that are the favorites of people who stand long hours.
The brand?
Dansko.
Dansko. You said Dansko indeed. Dansko shoes.
Sorry.
I'm trying to remember, you see, if I may have worn it or no, I cannot recall.
They're not sold here, so
I cannot recall.
If you travel abroad or you travel to the States, and if your job requires long hours of standing, then those are the shoes for you.
And how long did that shoe business last? Do you still have it?
We converted it to 100% employee owned when we retired in 2018. So we have now passed it along to the next generation of leadership, which is one of those things that we wanted to incorporate into this grand finale business of ours, some way of passing along this business to the next generation. That's a big, big part of what we're doing here at Silkgrass Farms.
I mean, securing it. You want to secure it for future generations, that it will stay intact, as we did with our shoe business. So doing it into an employee-owned business, that means nobody can buy it unless the employee decide that. But here, this farm is registered so in a trust that it will never be for sale. They will live on for generations to come, and the wildlife preserve we have here will be here for future generations.
What inspired us about this? It was enormous, way bigger than anything we had ever intended to get involved with. But of this amazing piece of land that spans the distance from Coxcomb Basin Jaguar Preserve to Bokawina and the City Forest Preserve behind, 90% of this land is virgin rainforest. It's untouched. And our commitment was to leave that untouched in perpetuity. But in order to have that happen, conservation needs an economic engine, and we had the perfect economic engine built in already, and that was what was originally citrus and cattle, or glorious Belize coconut oil. We could breathe new life into that business. We could rebuild it. We could re-farm it, rehabilitate all the fields. We could incorporate all the latest thinking in regenerative agriculture. We could plant a wide variety of crops to give us diversity, biodiversity, and resilience against climate change, and take advantage of the natural contours of the land and many other things. We could rebuild the factory. We could process not only produce that we grew ourselves, but others grew in Belize. We could really have an economic engine to make conservation possible here.
Now, what drives this passion for the environment, and how did it really start where you are concerned? What was your first interest in preservation and environment?
Mandy's family have always been in preservation of land. They did a lot in Colorado, and I, coming from Denmark, where we don't have much land, we're born with preserved land. We're born with taking care of land. We're born and I have an education in farming. We're born of taking care of the soil and everything. And one of the things I realized in the U.S. and, as we know, in the rest of the world, this is a huge problem we have here today, because trees get cut down and soil is not getting better, it's getting diluted, it is not getting better. Farming that's going on in there with monocrops, So this has to be changed, and we have a chance here to change that. We have a chance not alone to preserve the rainforests, but also to improve the soil. And the whole idea for us is to be a model for what agriculture actually can do in revert the trends that are going on in the world, to have a better world for the future generations. And that is really what we're trying to do. We will work on to improve what we have here in farming and improve the soil and get it better, and as a model. And we want to have whole Belize to be part of that. So we want to work with everybody to be part of that. I honestly believe that Belize can be a model for that, because Belize is small, and we can reach out. Henry have all the contracts to the people here. So I think we can be a model, and I see in the future that perhaps Belize can be a model.
Well, Henry, let's get your comments. You're listening.
I'm listening, and it's been a pleasure being a part of it, because from when we started in 2019 or even 2018 to now, the challenges just get more and more. But I think for me, one of the big components of my life, the joy of my life that has come along with Peter and Mandy being a part of it, is having changed. I have had to change. I have had to look at me, because I was also a conventional farmer. I tore down more forests than probably most people, and planted it to citrus, which was my thing at the time. Today, I am not into tearing down anything, but planting it back and trying to see how I can build it. So over the last 5 years of all being together, regenerative agriculture has become the way we do business. And sustainability is a very critical word. So, I don't want to say a reformed whatever, but it's truly what I have become. Because as you know, I'm a veterinarian, and then I did citrus, and then I did politics, and I did for all these reasons of wanting to make a change or a difference. And then I came back into citrus, and then was on my own for a while when I met Mandy and Peter and them, doing my consultancy in bananas and everything else. And then came here, and this, like Mandy mentioned earlier, has now given me a component of my legacy, the end of my days, because we're all getting to that point where we need to look at probably easier things, although I don't know if we chose easier things, but that's what it is. And there is nothing like Silkgrass Farms, and I say that very proudly, because there is nothing like Silkgrass Farms. And you know yourself, and I know Belize, and I know all crops, and I know, I've steered agriculture for 25 years directly on the Belize agro-productive sector. So I will say to you that this is a model that I hope most people want to follow, because I think it's a sustainable model. And we were doing, currently coming up, I was talking to Ava and Paul, mentioning to them that, the archaic legislations on banana and citrus and sugar is going to kill it. This is a new way, and it has to be that. If we don't change the model, you're not going to see what you're seeing here. Yes, it requires money, but it requires money spent in the correct way and for the correct reasons. So that's my story.
I'm impressed with what I've seen of Silkgrass Farm. I remember you took me on a tour of the factory, and I love the products, and I have not stopped drinking Silkgrass juices ever since, because of the way how it's made. And what are your comments on the products that you're producing?
One of the things we noticed about Belize is that because it's so small, both population-wise and geography, for Belize to compete in the world, it can't compete as a commodity or at the commodity level. So what we can do is add value at source. So we can add value to what we grow here through the high-tech equipment that we put into the factory. We have the ability to process fruits and vegetables and even meats in many, many different ways. So it gives us some dexterity and agility within the factory to handle seasonality of food products. We can also bring in food products from other growers here and process that as well. So we can keep nutrient density in the foods that we grow, because we grow them regenerative ways. We know that the foods are nutrient dense, and we have product development where we can enhance flavors and combine flavors in unique ways and extend shelf life and do that sort of thing. So that's adding value at source. One of the things I want to say, you hear a lot about circular economies, and what does that really mean for us? You know, you hear about that with people that recycle, with people that use renewable energy sources. We do all of those things. But I think one of the things that's quite unique about this project is 100% of the profits from our food processing and farm operations gets invested back into what we're doing here. And part of what we're doing here is the long-term management of our wildlife preserve. So when we first came to Belize, one of the things that was quite striking for us is the history of extraction economics that had been going on. And we wanted to push back into Belize what rightfully belonged to Belize. So if we could leave this better and leave a legacy, leave a roadmap for next generations, for the farming operations, for high-tech food processing, for the way we treat our employees, we would need an economic engine, as I said, the food processing. We would need a roadmap for future generations, safe quality food certification, benefit corporation, B Corp certification, an operating system that would guide the next generation of leadership. That would be the second thing. And then, as Peter alluded to, the third requirement would be a long-term ownership. And in the case of Silkgrass Farms, we have set up a perpetual purpose trust, which means when we pass, the farm, the wildlife preserve, and the other farms that are part of the Silkgrass family of farms stay intact. There is no ownership that gets dispersed to any outsider. It will stay right here, no heirs. None of that. None of that. There's a clear mandate to do well and leave the earth better.
So you're leaving it basically for the country?
We are.
That's what you're doing. You
mother of all impact
developed it,
investments.
and you're leaving it for the future of the country.
Next generation has to manage it. I mean, whoever gets elected to or decide to be running it, I mean, there's a board, and there is people that will be taking over from us one day, and they're the one who is in charge. But they have the mandate. They won't own it, but they have the mandate for how the idea is to run it.
And for whose benefit?
That's a unique model.
It is.
You know, it is a unique model. I'm trying to think if I've heard of another model, similar model in our country.
Not here, but there were two other companies that inspired us. One was Patagonia, the clothing company for outdoor sports. Their founder set up a perpetual purpose trust as well. So all of the profits go to support the non-profits that company invest in. And the second company is Newman's Own. And you can see Paul Newman's salad dressings and other things on the shelves here in Belize. Yeah. So Paul Newman, the movie star, set up a company where 100% of the proceeds go to support their nonprofits. But those were individual nonprofits. This is unique to Belize, I think, and all of the profits get reinvested in Belize for Belize.
That is important, you know, and I hope we'll see other models like this popping up, Henry.
I think it can. It's an interesting thing that's happening as we speak. Yeah. Right now is like the over surplus of carrots in the north that's hit the news and become a big entity. I came in, I think it was last Friday, I might have spoken to Mandy and Peter and said, you know, carrots like this should not be thrown away. Yeah. It should be utilized, and they agreed with me 100%. What we built was not built for Silkgrass Farms; it was built for Belize. That for the capacity and the way the facility is structured, if for something exactly like this. We got in touch with the minister yesterday. He said he was already talking to his people about how to get it done and that sort of stuff. So next Tuesday we have our first 300 pounds of carrots coming in. And what we're going to do is process it to carrot juice. And then we're going to bottle it for them. It's going to be a co-pack agreement, and then we send it to them, and the marketing board will distribute it. But Belize owns BDF, Coast Guard, police, hospital institutions. A farmer could farm with the confidence that this product will not waste, even if he overproduces, if it's just programmed. So, and this is what the concept was when we built it. But we're going to have our first trial run of that, and that is going to prove that yes, this is a substantively workable model. It's a change completely around for everything that I've done in the last 40, or at least 38 years, because I've been here for the last 5 years. But no.
I can see
100% is going to work.
I can see it really, as I listen to you all, I can see the future being a bright one for farmers because, for example, let's take something as simple as mangoes. Yeah. You know, you mango season is in. You know, the mangoes they waste and what. But with what the technology that you have here, that will be converted into mango juice, and so we'll be having mangoes all year round. Mango juice, enjoying mangoes all year round.
And we can make purees. We can do a lot of things with mangoes, different things. And another thing we're just starting. So I'm glad to hear that we're doing the carrot things. That's very exciting. But another thing we are in the process of starting up now with milk, coconut milk. So we have coconut milk, coconut cream, and so on. And we're just starting up our pouch machine. So we can deliver. Henry talked to some about having milk for school, dairy-free for to the schools and things like that. So. But also about our juices, why it is as good is there are no sugar, there are no additives. There's nothing toxic. It's pure juice. And how we can have the shelf life is through high pressure treatment. So we have a high pressure system that is very unique, and so we don't need to put heat to it. So when you drink juice or any product we have, like when we start to have purees and things like this from Silkgrass Farm, it's like it comes right off the fruit from the trees.
Yeah, I've enjoyed the mixtures. The melonade, I like melonade for some reason. It has a little tongue to it. I don't know how you get a tongue in there, but
ginger.
Ginger, right?
Yeah, and we have some lime in there, and then But no, I can only see, as Peter said, just so like with the mangoes and getting a farmer group that will do pineapples and all the other stuff that we need to do, that we co-link and help, because that's the model that it's going to be. I don't think you're going to see these huge farms anymore. I think you're going to see much smaller farms that requires much more efficiency and that sort of stuff, especially if we're going to co-link it with the conservation and the preservation of property. This property, yes, is 27,000 acres, but we only farm 3,000.
Yeah.
So it's only 10% of the actual land that we actually farm.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of ratio that we play with. No? But just want to mention one thing, because I think it's critical for us here. When Mandy, Peter, and I sat down and we first discussed the whole issue, there were two things that we said we'd never want to go back. Me as an agriculturalist, themselves as the things that they've done in the past, is commodity. No future for commodity, no hope for commodity, we can't compete. And monoculture. I came out of citrus, it was only citrus. So those were the two things that we said, no, can do. It has to be a multiple and a multi-type crop. And that's what we've been trying to do. And that's what we're working on very hard now.
And you're doing a good job at it too.
When we come back, the partners speak on why there was the need to focus on the well-being of the employees. We take a break to hear from our partners: the Barry, Del Martin, Silkgrass Farms, National Bank of Belize, Ministry of Blue Economy, and Minister Kevin Bernard.
The Barry is your one-stop store of choice. We have an array of electronics and accessories to keep you connected. Your home will be the envy of your friends when you choose from a wide variety of household appliances. We can help you dress the entire family in style and comfort with our selection of clothing and footwear. Visit our store on Albert Street in Belize City, San Pedro, La Isla Bonita, Park Street in Orange Walk Town, Belmopan, and San Ignacio, Santa Elena. Debari, get more, pay less.
Rice and beans, our Belizean tradition. Made even better with Silkgrass Farms cold-pressed coconut oil. Rich in healthy fat and full of natural flavor, our coconut oil brings out the best in every dish. From seasoning the pot for rice and beans to browning that perfect stew chicken, cooked on low heat, the coconut oil adds depth and richness to the flavor of your dish. Even when frying plantain, the coconut oil, cooked with gentle heat, brings out the natural sweetness, giving them that golden, crispy finish. Bring the true taste of Belize to the table with cold-pressed coconut oil by Silkgrass Farms.
Your dream home isn't just a house, it's where your future takes shape. At NBB, we go beyond financing. Our partnership with trusted professionals ensure you're supported at every step. We simplify the process, offering expert advice, personalized services, and fast approvals to make your journey stress-free. With NBB, you're not just buying a house, you're investing in your future with confidence and ease. At NBB, we don't just help you finance your dream, we help you live it. National Bank of Belize, your partner every step of the way.
4 years ago, Belize's blue economy was a vision, a dream waiting to be realized. It was an untapped resource with immense potential, but lacked the leadership and strategy to truly thrive. Today, under the leadership of Honorable Andre Perez, Minister of Blue Economy and Disaster Risk Management, that vision is no longer just a dream, it's a reality. The blue economy has become a cornerstone of Belize's growth, creating sustainable jobs, boosting our GDP, and preserving our natural heritage. Under the previous administration, our rich marine resources and coastal communities faced many challenges: limited innovation, missed opportunities, and a lack of direction. This administration has championed groundbreaking initiatives such as the National Adaptation Plan for the Coastal Zone and Fisheries Sector, which is the first of its kind in Belize and is a testament to the ministry's commitment to building a robust and sustainable blue economy. The Ministry of Blue Economy and Disaster Risk Management, safeguarding lives, seas, and sustainability.
In Orange Walk East, we've witnessed remarkable progress under the leadership of Kevin Bernard. Our community has thrived like never before. From healthcare initiatives that ensure every family has access to quality medical services, to educational reforms that empower our youth to reach their full potential. Kevin has transformed our infrastructure, making Orange Walk East a place where families can flourish. His commitment to youth and sports development has inspired a new generation of leaders and athletes. With a strong focus on women's development, Kevin has lifted voices and created opportunities for women to shine. Land distribution programs have empowered our citizens, giving them the tools to build a better future for their families. Through digital transformation, Kevin is ensuring that no one is left behind in this technological age. And in times of need, his social assistance programs have provided a safety net for our most vulnerable.
I believe in the power of our community. Together, we have achieved so much, but there's a lot more to be done. Together, let's continue to build a better Orange Walk East. I ask for your support on this upcoming elections. Vote Kevin for Orange Walk East.
El pueblo de Santa Marta y yo presente estaremos apoyando para las próximas elecciones al ministro Kevin Bernard. Me and my family will continue supporting Mr. Kevin Bernard for this general election.
Let's continue the progress. Vote for Kevin Bernard, a leader who cares. at champion for Orange Walk East.
It don't matter what part of the jewel you come from. You da you and me da me. But guess what? All are we the one. See what I mean? Jump and shout.
For Cabot and Kjellerup, they want to have a positive impact on the country they fell in love with.
We have 5 mandates, really, and that governs what we do at the farm, in the factory, and with the wildlife preserve. The first is, the fancy word is radical resource productivity, or do more with less.
Radical
so that means
research productivity, do more with less.
productivity, yes, do more with less. So we have committed to farm only those acres.
Okay.
The rest of it is conservation. But we know that we can get a lot more productivity out of the land by doing agroforestry, permaculture, multiple crops, and we use cover crops, we use tall trees and smaller bushes. And
like the cacao, for example, you plant under the larger trees and so on.
So do more with less, waste nothing. Our motto here is, it's not waste unless you waste it. Right? So coconut husks have a purpose. Coconut shells have a purpose. Coconut water has a purpose, et cetera, et cetera. The third is add value at source. So that's the idea of being a vertically integrated agribusiness. We go from farm all the way through adding value stages to what goes out the door. The fourth thing is build biodiversity. And we do that in multiple ways, by growing multiple crops, for example, all the way down to what we put in the soil. And the last is invest in both human and natural capital. So, businesses have traditionally been run on financial capital. Yes, that's important, but no more important than human capital and natural capital. So, we say, what's an agribusiness without clean air, clean water, pollinators, healthy soil? What's a brewery without clean water? I mean, most human endeavors require a healthy, natural environment. So that's key.
One of the big things here at Silk Grass Farms is the way how your staff is treated, the people that work with you are treated. I couldn't help but admire the fact that as you enter the gate, there's a school, and that you provide education to the children of the people that work here, for example. So you really have people at heart, right? That's the center of everything. It's a people-centered movement. So maybe we can get some comments on this. Maybe Henry does the hiring, right? Henry does the hiring, right? Okay.
The firing too. Yeah.
That actually happens.
No, again, one of our fundamental principles was always to be respectful to our employees. And Peter has a very strong mantra in having people be happy. You have to have a happy home to have a happy worker.
Yeah.
And that has impacted and affected a lot of how we manage. We try to pay better than. We try to make sure that all our employees, in fact, it's mandatory that they all have health insurance. We have a pension plan that we contribute 5%. Employees can contribute 3% or higher if they so wish. We even did a salary adjustment to compensate for that 3% in the first instance. But we're mandatory. We have a nurse coming in once a month that does checkups through our people. And we now have a person that comes in to work with the mental health, the happiness of our people. So we're not just checking your metabolics, we're also checking your mental state and that sort of stuff and how you are. The school has always been a vision of Mandy, in particular the younger stuff. But it just things change. We're now talking about an academy, and hopefully that starts in September. First form, we have 3 kids that are coming out of Standard 6. But we have a philosophy that we're trying to teach the kids. We're trying to go with the whole new concept that education is doing, where it's competency and online and that sort of stuff. Like our kids come in at 7 o'clock because our workers come in at 7 o'clock. And from 7 to 8:30, they do life skills. What is life skills? taking care of chicken, taking care of the sheep, taking care of the rabbit, checking the tilapia, feeding them, and that sort of stuff. They harvest the tilapia, they clean it, they cook it. We're trying to create a whole new set of people that would want to come and do what we are doing, and that sort of stuff.
Started during COVID, right?
Well, we started just before COVID. I mean, just as we were about to start building the factory. In fact, I think we broke ground, I think, a month before COVID. And the reason I brought it up is not so much the impact of COVID, because it was substantive, but that factory was built 100% Belizeans, because nobody couldn't travel. Yeah, right. So the first year and a half, the building was being put together by basically only Belizean and Belizean technicians. So I get offended when I hear, oh, we don't have that competency and we don't have that. And we have a problem, and our problem is discipline and how we live, our culture. That's our problem. But technically, I will put my head on the block that we have some seriously capable technocrats, whether it has to do from refrigeration to electrical to construction to plumbing to everything. Time management is a problem, as Peter could tell you, but we always say Belize time, and maybe it's a little Belize attitude that we have to get rid of. Kind of change things. We are changing it. We are changing it because, again, there's a whole new process that's going on where we're going to be managing people by accountability as opposed to by personality. And like in perpetuity, we're trying to put systems in place that will make it possible for in perpetuity to exist. It's not a typical company. It may be a typical company in other countries, but what we're doing here, I don't know of any other company. I can think of a few companies that are moving around it, but I don't think of any that have really focused in the way we have in regards to our employees and the benefits for them and how to get them set up where we can go away from it, knowing that in perpetuity is a possibility and not just a dream or a vision.
Now, looking at this, you see a good amount of development, massive development, the factory, the infrastructure, the house, this great house that we are in. But in 2018, it was not here, right? It was not like this. So what were your first impressions when Henry brought you to this farm and said, okay, we could develop this and made his recommendations to take it on? What were your first impressions?
We probably can't say that on national TV.
Because it was just overgrown.
That's right. It was a oh my goodness moment, but maybe a little more strongly than
the road was so bad you couldn't even drive on.
We did, however, follow all the GPS points for the boundaries of the property in a helicopter. So we could see what there was back there, and we were blown away. It was spectacularly beautiful, spectacularly clean, and we thought, wow, this is really something to protect. But if we were going to protect it, we're going to need to have some source of funding, because it was never our intention to go to the government to ask for outside funding. We also didn't want this to be some crazy social experiment that 2 transplants from overseas are bringing here. So that's why it was really important that we kind of come up with a roadmap that we can follow, that can be, setting the guardrails for the next generation of folks. And that's why we get the certifications that we're getting, and why we're setting up the operating system that Henry talked about, where people are managed by their accountabilities, not by personalities, and that's new.
I think that we did have their ideas of what it could be. We had just there was a little video out about the Little Big Farm. Okay. I don't know if you have seen. Yeah, the Little Big Farm is, I think it's about not even 200 acres, and they wanted to do exactly what we were doing. And Mandy and I have seen that.
We actually saw it on the plane coming down to Belize.
That's a serendipity. On the plane down to Belize to meet Henry, we actually saw the Little Big Farm on the plane. It just happened to be there. And
you found your little big farm, or your big little farm.
but we from the beginning said this is possible. We just need to take it step by step, and that is like anything else. You start, you take just one step, and then the next, and you just keep going. So I think that's where we got the inspiration from that. One thing I just want to say, Henry, you mentioned the academy, our school, and you said 3 students. No, we have actually 17 kids now, and we have a nursery for babies. And then the 3 kids is new because that's 13 grade.
They're moving on
and then
to
moving
high
on
school.
to the next grade. Like, so
Yeah, but when the 16-acre project comes on with the 35 houses, that's going to be a different blast on the school because all those kids will probably come here.
we could talk about it.
It sounds like you'll have your workers living on the farm as well, right?
We have 3 types of housing schemes on the farm. We try not to house as much, but we have to have a buffer. So we have a men's section that's separated from the women's section. That close to the women's section, we also have family homes because at first everybody lived together, and we needed to separate it for sanity. And we have rules like no drinking. We have a laundromat where our workers can wash their clothes for a small fee. We have a store. We sell as cheap as you could get from any of the Chinese stores. So it's no reason for you to go out and get what you want to get. What we're trying to do is not manage the people or pen them up, but to not have alcohol become a big issue in a back of the bush type environment. And it has worked well for us because it has allowed us to enable disciplining. But where we are right now is employment. And just after COVID, we've really been suffering with not being able to get employment. We're getting a little bit more, but we're doing bus runs to get them. So, and for management, which are either Dangriga, Hopkins, Pomona, an area like that, it's a little bit far. So you have to get up an hour and a half earlier every morning to come to work and stuff. So what we have done now is we've bought a 16-acre piece of land and we subdivided it into 35 lots. And we're now offering that with funding, hopefully a joint venture with the Holy Redeemer Credit Union, where we can sell them their lots, finance their houses, and they can come and live here. And that's why I'm saying the school will then be influenced, because once the management and the supervisors live here, then their children has some place to come to. So it's off. We are off the grid a little bit, as you can see when you came in. We're about 2 miles off, and it creates a little bit more challenges for us to keep employment and stuff like that. But we are at that point where I think we're now establishing a reputation, because when we were new, it was new, and a lot of people couldn't believe what we were doing. That these people must be crazy. But I think people now understand and believe that when we say we're going to do something, we do it. And we do it well. And therefore, we have a lot of people now wanting to come and join us. And we have to be able to accommodate that talent when it comes. If not, we lose the talent that we speak to. Because we're talking right now of just what's currently happening. But the next layer that's going to come beyond it's going to require a little bit more. And I know Mandy and them will talk to you about the science, the whole concept of science behind the preserves and all that sort of stuff, as opposed to extraction economics and that sort of stuff, and those things. So, like I said, it's different. It's completely different from banana industry, citrus industry, sugarcane industry, or even shrimp. It's a completely different concept.
And I think there's another thing I think is a little unique, but you tell us. We decided very early on that we are not going to hire anybody than Belizeans. We have no managers. We had the first 90 days, we hired somebody that was non-Belizean as running it. And after 90 days, Mandy and I decided this farm has to be run 100% by Belizeans. And we can say it's 100% because Mandy and I, we're not employed in the company.
We're just crazy visionaries.
So you just provide the guidance and so on.
We don't get salary.
Couple months away from being Belizean.
Well, let's hope that the couple months come very fast, because I'm amazed at the amount of and the love you have for this country. So the genesis of that love you said was when you arrived, when you first arrived, right?
Right.
You know, that's that you realize this is it, right?
We made the decision at COVID that we would actually sell our previous home in the States. We got dogs. We really put down roots here.
Yeah.
And we explored every inch of this country that we could. We love to hike. We love to get out in the bush. We love to talk to people, and we've been all over. So that's been a real blessing for us.
So you're at home, basically.
Yeah, this is our home now. Yeah. We sold, as Mandy said, under COVID. So when we came down here, we had no idea that we would not get back to our home. So we were just down here for a couple of months, and then we had to come home. So our daughter lives close by where we are, so we just called her, said we decided we're selling. And everything in our home was like, you just leave on vacation and come back, refrigerator, bathrooms, everything we owned was just there. So we said to our daughter, COVID, we can't come home. You have to pack it all up and fix it up and put it on the market and sell it, and she did. So when we came home, we had a storage place in a storage where we could see whatever was not given away or she could sell and so on. Very little. Almost, we had a lot of Mandy's family, brown furniture.
We call those antiques.
Antiques,
Our kids call it brown furniture. They had no interest in antiques.
Down here, we'd ask our family, do you want something? The young generation said no, silverware and anything. So it all went. So we are so not happy now because we have no clutter anywhere. We have a little house and that's it. Very little closet space,
and a big farm.
And no longer concerned about making shoes.
We're still on the board of a company, so Mandy is still very much involved.
Okay, but just at the board level. Right?
Just at the board level.
Not getting in directly.
Right. So Henry spoke a little bit about education. That's really important for us. One of our core values is lifelong learning. So we have adopted the new technologies in food processing and in growing and many other things. We take very seriously the fact that we've got tens of thousands of acres under conservation here. And one of my first challenges was to come up with a conservation management plan for the wildlife preserve. Fortunately, there have been folks that whose lead I follow on that, right? Management plans. But for us, we don't know how to manage until we know what we have. So job number one for the first 5 years is to figure out, what do we have? What kind of biodiversity is there in the tree canopy, in the soil, in the rivers and streams, in the species? What's at risk? What's thriving? What do we need to take care of? So to that end, knowing what it is we have, we've brought in a series of outside researchers to help us, some from Belize and some from outside. So water quality as it enters our property, the impact of our operations on water quality, and then water quality as it leaves, that's being monitored by a group of scientists from Pennsylvania, Stroud Water Research Center. The biodiversity in the tree canopy is being monitored by Dr. Stephen Brewer with a Belizean botanist, and they are cataloging a Trees of Belize project. So they have discovered some trees that have never been discovered before on our property, which is very exciting. We have Panthera, who's now associated with the University of Belize Environmental Research Institute, doing a multi-year study of our cats primarily. We work with Audubon. We have a tower here that monitors migratory birds. That's actually here attached to this building.
Saw that, yeah.
And then we have a company that's actually coming later this week to help us with soil amendments in the form of algae. We are doing some really unique and very cutting-edge work with taking our waste from our bio-waste, starting with our mountains of coconut husks and shells, converting that through a process called pyrolysis, which is low oxygen or no oxygen burning into something called biochar, which is like charcoal, basically, made of the bio-waste. And that can be inoculated with, say, compost tea or microorganisms and put back into the soil as a soil amendment. So these are all really new, really exciting things. And if Silkgrass Farms can be that model for regenerative ag and cutting edge research that Peter spoke about before, that would be an awesome legacy.
It is an awesome legacy already. Yeah.
We will have more of our conversation with Mandy Cabot, Peter Kjellerup, and Dr. Henry Canton after this break to hear from our partners: the Barry, Del Martin, Silkgrass Farms, National Bank of Belize, Ministry of Blue Economy, and Minister Kevin Bernard.
Guess what? All are we the one. See what I mean? Jump and shout all over the nation. We're breaking out with a new creation. It's been too long, we've got to unite now. Time and space can't keep us apart right now.
Rice and beans, our Belizean tradition, made even better with Silkgrass Farms cold-pressed coconut oil. Rich in healthy fats and full of natural flavor, our coconut oil brings out the best in every dish. From seasoning the pot for rice and beans to browning that perfect stew chicken, cooked on low heat, the coconut oil adds depth and richness to the flavor of your dish. Even when frying plantain, the coconut oil, cooked with gentle heat, brings out the natural sweetness, giving them that golden, crispy finish. Bring the true taste of Belize to the table with cold-pressed coconut oil by Silkgrass Farms.
In Orange Walk East, we've witnessed remarkable progress under the leadership of Kevin Bernard. Our community has thrived like never before. From healthcare initiatives that ensure every family has access to quality medical services, to educational reforms that empower our youth to reach their full potential. Kevin has transformed our infrastructure, making Orange Walk East a place where families can flourish. His commitment to youth and sports development has inspired a new generation of leaders and athletes. With a strong focus on women's development, Kevin has lifted voices and created opportunities for women to shine. Land distribution programs have empowered our citizens, giving them the tools to build a better future for their families. Through digital transformation, Kevin is ensuring that no one is left behind in this technological age. And in times of need, his social assistance programs have provided a safety net for our most vulnerable.
I believe in the power of our community. Together, we have achieved so much, but there's a lot more to be done. Together, let's continue to build a better Orange Walk East. I ask for your support on this upcoming elections. Vote Kevin for Orange Walk East.
El pueblo de Santa Marta y yo presente estaremos apoyando para las próximas elecciones al ministro Kevin Bernard. Me and my family will continue supporting Mr. Kevin Bernard for this general election.
Let's continue the progress. Vote for Kevin Bernard, a leader who cares, a champion for Orange Walk East.
Years ago, Belize's blue economy was a vision, a dream waiting to be realized. It was an untapped resource with immense potential, but lacked the leadership and strategy to truly thrive. Today, under the leadership of Honorable Andre Perez, Minister of Blue Economy and Disaster Risk Management, that vision is no longer just a dream, it's a reality. The blue economy has become a cornerstone of Belize's growth, creating sustainable jobs, boosting our GDP, and preserving our natural heritage. Under the previous administration, our rich marine resources and coastal communities faced many challenges: limited innovation, missed opportunities, and a lack of direction. This administration has championed groundbreaking initiatives such as the National Adaptation Plan for the Coastal Zone and Fisheries Sector, which is the first of its kind in Belize and is a testament to the ministry's commitment to building a robust and sustainable blue economy. The Ministry of Blue Economy and Disaster Risk Management, safeguarding lives, seas, and sustainability.
Debari is your one-stop store of choice. We have an array of electronics and accessories to keep you connected. Your home will be the envy of your friends when you choose from a wide variety of household appliances. We can help you dress the entire family in style and comfort with our selection of clothing and footwear. Visit our store on Albert Street in Belize City, San Pedro, La Isla Bonita, Park Street in Orange Walk Town, Belmopan, and San Ignacio, Santa Elena. Debari, get more, pay less.
Celebration time. It don't matter what part of the jewel you come from. You da you and me da me. But guess what? All are we the one. See what I mean? Jump and shout all over the nation.
Silkgrass Farms is committed to meeting the highest standards of social and environmental responsibility.
The goal is actually how can we avoid oil-based fertilizer? And that is where we have legumes, as a cover plants, we are doing the biochar, we're doing compost and so on. So we're trying to figure out how we can keep the yield of the production, because one thing is what we're doing here on the farm, it sounds good, but we still have to be able to feed people. We have to be able to grow stuff. We have to be able to grow healthier stuff. We want to have stuff that have more proteins, more of all the essential minerals and so on that people need in the product, so we don't need to take vitamin pills so much and get healthy food. So that is where we are, I think, really where it is we can do research here and get better at that. So improving the soil, this is one of the most important things we can do, and that's why we have the biochar project, and we also have the cover crops where we use legumes for adding on nitrogen, and we have compost, worm culture, so we can add worm to the soil. So all about making product that is healthier in what you normally see. And Belize is ahead of the time because they are growing good products, but when you see what's going on in the U.S., you take the vegetables and the fruit there, they have no taste to it compared to what we have here. But we want to make it so that we can do it without using oil-based fertilizer, and that is really what we're trying to develop more and more.
You know, as I listen to you talking about the use of oil-based fertilizer, my mind goes back to a gentleman I know in southern Belize. I call him Mr. Agriculture. He speaks out tremendously against the use of oil-based fertilizers and
we do too, because what we can see what happened to the soil is that the more oil-based fertilizer you use, the more you kill the natural bacteria and everything that is the semoids and all the organisms that are in the soil. You take that away, so you're actually depleting the soil instead of improving it. So that's what we want to reverse, and that's why we want to try to produce as much of the different product Belize can grow to help make it and process it to help not only us but also other farmers that can grow.
So the principle is that the soil, the soil grows and you put back in it, treats the soil better than if you were adding some outside component to it, right? So it's natural compost and everything that you're talking about, right? To grow more.
All the organic matter in it. So that is why we are no-till. We don't want to disturb. We don't want to disturb the earth. We want to just add on and let the work go through plant, through root systems, and so on.
Okay. Now, Henry, you have a whole lot of products. I mean, coconut water, some this wide variety of juices, and I think you could do it better than I can. Tell me.
Yeah, but just before I start, because I want to just say something that Peter hit that's very important. Right now, most of the agriculture he speaks to about, it's bucket. It's 5 acres, it's 20 acres. We're trying to see how we can get from 20 acres to 8,000 acres ASAP with that side of a concept. So that is one of the big challenges that's on us in regards to those crops. So yes, you can talk about that thing, but you have to be able to translate.
To translate it.
With our products, when we first came into the farm, we had some citrus and we had a lot of coconuts. I think it was like 1 million plus coconuts, dry coconuts at the time. Glorious Belize, which we bought over, was producing oil, and they were doing some frozen coconut water on the market. So we zeroed in on coconuts and we zeroed in on citrus, and then we decided what else can we, as a core group. So most of our farms are based on coconut, citrus, variety of citruses, because we do the citrus melody type concept. Yeah, we do watermelon. With watermelon, we don't grow it. We did a couple growings, and we were successful, but we think that's an outsourced crop. So we have the Amish, the traditional Mennonites growing that. We do pineapple as core juices. And from that, we then, whatever you process, in any one day that you process, you get a range of what the quality of product is. No any one day is the same. Every day is a different batch. And it's a concept that's been difficult for a lot of us to understand. We are not amending it. We're not adding any sugar. We're not adding any citric acid to acidify it or to stuff. If we're going to acidify, we have to use lime or we have to use lemon. Yeah. Or if we're going to add sweetness to it, we have to use sugarcane juice, which we also produce. And the issue with sugarcane juice, so that brings its own color and its own flavor. So it tends to change the whole format. So what do we do with these batches that are not necessarily fitting? We turn them into blends, and therefore from that comes the blends. And that then attracts ginger, that attracts turmeric, that attracts, in some instances, pitahaya for color, pitahaya for thickening. We've even played around with sweet potato and cocoa powder, to add to the juices to thicken it. Okay. Because remember, everything is technological. Nothing is preservative. So we don't want to add potassium absorbate or any of these chemicals to it. So what we're trying to do is use everything without having to change anything too greatly. Okay. So what's going to happen now that we've been running a year and a half steadily, what we're going to do now is as soon as the batch is made and it fits a profile, it goes directly to packaging. If it doesn't fit the profile, we then have to come back and blend. Or we then take it to a blend itself. So we have a punch, we have a melonade. In that melonade, there is watermelon, the majority. It has lime, it has ginger. I think it has some orange juice and stuff like that. So this is the game that we play with the juices. We put them together. We have a phenomenal young lady that does our product development, and she has that flavor, that taste that puts it all together. With coconut, like Mandy said earlier, less for more, or more with less. Our milks, most people, especially in Belize, are lactose intolerant, and we are coming out with the milk, vanilla, chocolate, or whatever other flavor the kids may like, so that we could replace cow's milk at the schools or in the markets. We're coming out with a milk to compete with Grace, but it won't be a Grace type milk where it's all filled with, it only has about 40% coconut and the rest of it is everything else. It's going to be a much better type product. We have creams. So when we buy a coconut going forward from here, every part of that coconut has a purpose and a use. A green coconut, the water is critical. The husk goes to making fiber or making potting media. The meat is taken out. We make a coconut puree. So that's the green. The brown, the husk goes to the potting medium and the fiber. The shell goes to the biochar. The meat goes to the coconut oil, the coconut milks, the coconut creams. The trash that comes out of that, we're going to now go to flour. We're hoping to do flour, and we're hoping to dehydrate it so that we could use it as an addition for bakery and stuff like that. So this is where we are. We're just getting there now. You know, we're like in step 3 of 10 steps, but we're getting there, and we're beginning to see where it's going to go.
You're supplying at a local market, but do you export as well?
We're exporting. You know, I was boasting to Peter and Mandy last end of the year that we've sent out about 26 containers of value-added product, and that makes us probably the largest shippers of value-added product in 3 months. So it just shows you
what can be done.
And how we can change it. So we're not hoping to sell. We have to sell some. And it's not even a commodity, it's a specialized commodity. Like if we send cream, we'd like to send cream mixed with sour sap. So it's going to go put in yogurt or ice cream. I'm talking coconut cream, sour sap, coconut cream, passion fruit, coconut cream, and then we add it to coconut. We send it off in a gallon, a bucket, a 20-liter container or a 3-liter container. And what they do is dump it up into their yogurt or dump it up into their ice cream and that sort of stuff. So there's a lot that's happening, not just within the factory and the farm and stuff, but a whole marketing system and structure that we're trying to get perfected as we go along. It's all one brand new game that I think we all enjoy.
I find it exciting. Some of this is bought from farmers that supply you as well. Farmers in the area that would supply some of the products that you don't necessarily have, right?
Yeah, we're putting together a group of farmers to help supply our products. But remember, because we boast regenerative, because on our labels we boast B Corp, we boast non-GMO, we boast regenerative, we have kosher, and these other certifications. We have to make sure that the people who are supplying us the raw material are practicing the same philosophy.
Yeah.
So I am not a big fond of associations and cooperatives. You know that from my past. But I believe that there is a mechanism, there's a sensible way to work with farmers, and we've found them. And we work hand in hand. We know that they have to gain in order to produce for us, so we're not cheap on what we source. We try to encourage them to be a big part of what we are, because we want them to be a part of our story. We just don't want to be the only story. We want to be a family of stories that we're doing. So we have an outreach program, and we actually help go there and we help people manage. We help people with ideas and stuff like that.
One of the things that's impressed me when I buy a bottle of silkgrass juices is the long shelf life. I noticed that I bought it, for example, I'd buy in December, and it would tell me it doesn't expire until March in 2025. Now, how is that?
High pressure processing, you're going up to about 88,000 psi, which is the more pressure than you get at the deepest point of any waterway, any ocean. And you hold it for 3-4 minutes, and you kill all your microbes without affecting your actual product. Therefore, you get sterilization, not pasteurization. It's an old science called Pasqualization. Pasquale developed it, so it's Pasqualization turned into HPP, and then you have Pasteur, who did pasteurization using heat to pasteurize, which is just a sterilization process. And then we have all different sorts of packaging that we do behind that. But that's where the 120 days come from. Actually, I drink up to 6 months, and it's still perfect. The only thing that starts happening is you get a little bit of degradation of pulp. But when you shake it up and stuff, it tastes the exact same. It's just that the pulp is a little different. So we give it 120 days.
We wouldn't recommend that.
But I'm saying that there's life
There's life beyond
120 days.
Yeah.
But I think another important point, Renee, is that it's good for shellfish. If you run shellfish through the HPP process, you get shucking and you get the more tenderizing of like crayfish. It's good for beef. What it does in beef, fresh cuts of beef, it's like when you freeze meat and then you thaw it and you look at it, you see a lot of red.
Yeah.
What is the red?
Blood.
It's not blood. It's myoglobin. It's what should be back in the meat. It's what flavors the meat and tenders the meat. So what HPP does when you run it through at about 37,000 psi is it drives the myoglobin deeper into the meat. So it doesn't, when it freezes, it doesn't leak. So you gain about 15%, and plus you increase the flavors and the stuff. So there's a lot of potential for it. I think about 85% of all processed meats in the States and Europe do go through an HPP process. We don't know. We get it here after it's already beginning to want to expire, then they freeze it and send it to us. And that's how it goes on for us. But the sky is the limit when you really think about it. And I think that's what makes it so exciting.
Well, this is a massive investment financially, right? And you have to have a lot of confidence in what you're doing. What's the size of this investment that here at Silkgrass Farms?
You want to give it a shot, Mandy?
We're north of 200 million Belize dollars.
Wow.
We made such a large investment because the name of the game is sustainability. And if you don't have financial sustainability, whatever your sustainability efforts on the environmental front or on the social front don't matter if you can't be self-funding. So we invested what we did to give Silkgrass Farms and our partner farms the boost they need to get to profitability, certainly within our lifetimes. So we're setting up the roadmap for the next generation, but we also want this thing to be profitable as soon as it can be. It has to be a business.
It has to be a business. Yeah, I agree with that.
That's why one of the first things we did is we put in a 2 megawatt solar system, right? Because we knew that the electricity prices to run this would be very hard to pay that and then still make profit. So with the solar system we have now, we actually, when the sun is up or even if it's cloudy, we produce more energy than we're using in the daytime. So now we have an agreement with BEL that they will buy our energy back when we have the sun. So that balancing out what we use in the evening or a day where it's raining. So, but without that, I mean, that income, we can call it that because you don't have to pay a big bill every month for energy. That makes it a little more, that makes it much easier to get to profit. And that's how we can help.
So when we said this is the mother of all impact investments for us, the operative word here is impact. It's not the investment. It's not what we want to take out of it. We had a fantastic life, and we were able to take what we have built and what we've learned and what we've experienced and apply that here. Also with this concept of lifelong learning, there's still a lot more we have to learn. But the idea is to leave an impact, create an impact.
Well, you have certainly made an impact on me just listening to your story, that's for sure.
Because if I just say that the only thing that will be left after we are 6 feet on the ground is the impact we have. If it was money, we couldn't take that with us. Yes. So,
the impact.
But the impact, yes, is as Mandy expressed it, but the impact for me, having been a minister of government, having been in the bigger industries are wide and the investments that are brought, I know that this investment, every dollar that Mandy speaks about, not a dollar is borrowed. It's
his money.
And not only that, it stays here. So yes, it's an impact for them and what they're doing, but it's an impact for Belize because it's a hell of an investment that does not put any pressure on our local banks. It's the mother of true direct foreign investments. It's the only one that I know about, and that's why I'm proud to be a part of it. But I'll be honest, and that's a part of the impact that you have to remember, because that's the biggest impact you can do in Belize. Those 400 people, 600 people that we have employed, that's who we will work for, those 600 people.
Well, here's the thing about business. If you can't use your business to improve the quality of life of everyone your business touches, you should go back to the drawing board and try again.
And I also want to say we mentioned these different organizations that we are part of, like B Corp, and we have a row of them mentioned here. What that is for is we want to have third parties evaluate what we're doing, not what we are saying. So they come in and they audit us. They audit us on every aspect of our business, like from how we treat the workers, how our sourcing is, how we do environments, and so on. And they give us scores, and they give us the high bar, and we have to live up to that bar. So we get audited on everything we are doing, and so that's why we have these certificates. So when you see B Corp on the bottle, that means something, because that means it's not just what we're saying.
Well, thank you so much for this lesson that you have given me, and for this interesting experience, and for allowing me to learn your story, and for believing in Belize. What impresses me is that you believe in Belize. We have the saying, believe in Belize, and you have put your all into our country.
Belize is very special. And I think that sometimes when you meet Belizeans, they are not even aware of how special it is here.
Yes.
For the wildlife, scarlet macaw, we go here, and jaguars and tapirs and everything you have in the bird life and wildlife and soil and rainforest, but also the culture. The culture of the people here is really unique. So it's worth to save, and it's worth to do something to improve and be here.
And to work hard.
Thank you so much for
Mandy,
this opportunity to speak to you.
It's been great, and like I said, I learned a whole lot from you, just in this conversation that we've been able to have. And again, thank you for believing in Belize, and thank you for choosing Belize. And the model that you have is, of course, unique. It's a unique. I think it deserves to be emulated. Any quick word from you, Henry, before we?
No, Renee, just thanks for coming, you and Alva and Paul. I mean, it's a long ride. I hope we do the other sections. We'll get into some of the detail.
I want to say thank you for the love we have experienced here at Silkgrass Farms. Right? It's true love. What you have done is a labor of love. It's a labor of love because you chose Belize, you love living in Belize, you're about to become naturalized Belizeans, you have invested in Belize, Belize is your home, and home is where love lies, right? You love your home. And Henry, you're doing what you love, and the showers of blessings always fall here in Belize. And because we choose to love, you know what we always say at our station? We always say, Belize and beyond, thanks for choosing love.
Celebration time. It don't matter what part of the jewel they come from. You that you and me that me. But guess what?